If you're seeing BMW Code 400621, you may not need to replace your transfer case. This code can mean three completely different things: a simple oil service, internal mechanical wear, or even mismatched tires. Today, I'll show you how to tell the difference before you waste thousands of dollars. BMW Code 400621 comes from the VTG module. That's your xDrive transfer case control unit. It does not measure oil quality with a sensor. Instead, it calculates oil wear based on clutch slip energy inside the transfer case. When that calculated value exceeds its programmed limit, the system stores the code as a permanent fault. This is why clearing the code doesn't fix it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The meaning changes depending on the vehicle. Scenario 1. Normal oil wear, which is common on F30, F10, G30 models with N20, N55, B58 engines. On 3 Series and 5 Series xDrive models, especially N55 and B58 engines, this is usually maintenance related. These engines make strong lower PM torque. That torque creates clutch slip heat inside the ATC35L transfer case. After over 60,000 to 90,000 miles, the DTF1 fluid loses its friction modifiers. You may notice a slight shudder when making tight turns, or a small jerk when accelerating from a stop. Some drivers also describe it as a brief hesitation in the drivetrain, almost like the car is thinking before it moves. If this condition is ignored, degraded transfer case fluid can overheat the internal clutch pack and gradually accelerate the wear. The solution in this scenario is straightforward. Replace the transfer case fluid with genuine BMW DTF1. Then perform the VTG oil service reset using the ISTA program. Do not skip the reset procedure. If you only change the fluid without resetting the oil wear counter, the code will remain stored. When addressed early, this is a simple and relatively inexpensive repair. Scenario 2. Internal mechanical wear, which is common on X5, X6, F15, and E70 models. Now, if you're driving a heavier BMW like an X5 or X6, especially with the N63 V8, this code can mean something more serious. These SUVs place much higher load on the transfer case. Over time, the clutch plates physically wear down. When internal wear progresses, the actuator motor eventually reaches the end of its travel range. The VTG attempts to calibrate, but it can't generate the required clamping force on the clutch pack. You may hear grinding underneath the car, feel a heavy shudder at highway speed, or notice jerking during acceleration. In many cases, VTG calibration will fail during a proper diagnostic session. If left unresolved, this can lead to complete transfer case failure. A technician can run a VTG calibration test and listen for multiple clean metallic clicks. A worn unit may produce a dull thud or fail calibration entirely. In this case, a fluid change alone will not fix the problem. If calibration fails or abnormal noise is present, have a BMW specialist inspect the transfer case. Scenario 3. Tire circumference mismatch, which is common on G20, G30 models with B48, B58 engines. This is the most misunderstood cause. Modern G-chassis BMWs are extremely sensitive to tire diameter differences. If front and rear tires differ by more than 1% rolling circumference, the transfer case must constantly slip to compensate. That constant microslip overheats the fluid. The control unit interprets this constant slip as accelerated clutch wear. As adaptation values rise from continuous slip, the system stores the fault code. The code often returns shortly after clearing, even though there's no mechanical noise or major drivability issue. This pattern is frequently seen after recent tire replacement. Before replacing the transfer case, always measure tread depth. BMW allows roughly a 2 mm variance between front and rear. Excessive difference can trigger the fault even when the hardware is fine. Here's the diagnostic logic. No noise and moderate mileage usually points to fluid degradation. Grinding noise, heavy shudder, and failed calibration indicate internal mechanical wear. But if tires were recently replaced, there's no noise and the code keeps returning. Circumference mismatch is often the real cause. Accurate diagnosis determines whether this is maintenance or mechanical failure. If you're dealing with BMW code for 00621, don't guess diagnose properly. Comment your BMW model and engine below, and I'll help you narrow it down.